owner except for two. All right. And they're trying to get one of those to an NBA owner, which is the Houston Rockets owner. And they announced that they brave, stunning, and courageously would authorize a strike. Now, as you can imagine, and I made a couple of videos about this, and I did a video yesterday morning because David Sampson, who's a really, really freaking smart sports business guy, came out and said,
recent developments in professional women's basketball have sparked intense debate among supporters and critics alike. The labor organization representing players recently approved potential work stoppage action against team ownership groups. Nearly all franchises are controlled by ownership tied to the Men's Professional Basketball League, with only two exceptions. Efforts are underway to bring additional ownership from that same pool, including prospects connected to a Texas-based franchise. The decision to greenlight potential walkout measures has generated significant controversy. Sports business analyst David Sampson, recognized for his expertise in league economics, offered pointed commentary on the situation.
Business guy came out and said, the NBA is going to draw the line on revenue sharing, and they will draw the line to the point of shutting the WNBA's doors down. They are not going to give the revenue sharing that the WNBA players want, and the women will compromise. And so I had a theory when I made that video that they did this to publicly save face.
According to his assessment, the men's league will establish firm boundaries regarding profit distribution arrangements. His prediction suggests ownership would rather cease operations entirely than concede to the financial terms being sought. He anticipates the players will ultimately back down from their demands. There's speculation the authorization was primarily a public relations maneuver to allow for face saving before accepting a compromise. What makes this particularly noteworthy is the compensation package currently available. Under the proposed collective bargaining terms, maximum individual earnings would approach $2 million annually by the agreement's conclusion.
They did this to publicly save face before they decide to accept the deal. Now, keep in mind something, and I didn't bring this up. I included this in the video, but there's been a new offer from the owners and by the end of the new CBA offer, the new max contract would be like a hair under $2 million. Well, the max contract now is $250,000, $249. Let's call it $250. So
current maximum compensation sits around $250,000. The mathematics are striking. Players potentially rejecting an arrangement that would multiply earnings by approximately 7 to 8 times seems difficult to comprehend. Turning down a 7-fold income increase appears questionable at best. Such positioning risks alienating the supporter base that has long advocated for better compensation in women's professional basketball. For years, the primary grievance centered on inadequate pay.
Let's call it $250. So you mean to tell me y'all are not going to sign a deal where you get, let's call it a 7.5 to 8 times raise? You're not signing a deal with a 7 times salary increase. Let's just call it 7 times. Are you absurd? I mean, that's a great way for these players to lose the support of fans. By the way, they're losing the support of.
Now, with substantial increases available, demands have shifted toward profit sharing in an operation that has never achieved profitability. This creates confusion about priorities and objectives. The league has indicated willingness to implement revenue-sharing arrangements once actual profits materialize, which seems like a reasonable middle ground. Public response has been overwhelmingly negative. Comments from followers reveal deep frustration. Many note the disconnect between attention generated by individual star performers and resentment toward those same athletes.
Losing the support of fans. Because the biggest complaint all these years is they didn't get paid enough money. Oh, but we get to this year and we want more money and we want to revenue share in a league that's never turned a profit. And it's like, what is going on here? What are you thinking? Oh, but the league will revenue share. They just want an actual profit to be made, and then they'll share some of it.
Critics describe the situation as self-sabotage without clear purpose or endgame. Concerns exist about leadership composition, with some noting that union representatives have financial interests in competing leagues, creating potential conflicts. Questions arise about whether maintaining the current league's viability truly serves their interests. The situation has been characterized as deeply embarrassing by numerous observers. Comparisons to abandoning commitments completely have emerged, with fans threatening to cease support entirely. There's consensus that different representation might serve players better.
Of it seems pretty reasonable to me. So let's look at some reaction. All right, because I've given it a couple of days. You see there, I bookmarked this so I could go back to it. Clowns. I mean, this is, whoa. They're so emboldened by the attention received by a single player, yet they resent her nonetheless. I mean, whoa.
Many express bewilderment at organizational decisions that would never receive acceptance in other major professional sports environments, yet administrators react poorly to scrutiny. Momentum built over the previous season risks complete dissipation. The irony and absurdity haven't escaped notice, with numerous expressions of disbelief and mockery. The theatrical nature of statements from player representatives suggests detachment from business realities, as though engaged in social media disputes rather than serious contract negotiations. Interest levels remain precarious. Even modest fan engagement could evaporate during a work stoppage.
I mean, whoa. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. Shooting themselves in the foot, and for what? This is not going to end well. The entire leadership is made up of players who have ownership stakes in other leagues. And it's beneficial for them to kill the WNBA. When are the rest of the players going to boot them out of their roles? Embarrassing as F. I still don't get it.
Questions persist about whether anyone would genuinely notice if games ceased. The operation has failed to generate profits throughout its 3-decade existence, meaning ownership groups have subsidized every aspect of operations and player compensation throughout this period. Claims of unfair treatment over 30 years ring hollow given these economic realities. A work stoppage represents an existential threat. The operation risks discovering that broader audiences feel no attachment to regular season competition. Recent experience without the league's biggest star on display provided instructive evidence.
I still don't get it. I still don't get it. How that could be happening. I will stop watching the WNBA cold turkey like how I left my first wife. Don't mess this up. They definitely have the wrong players representing the players. And I don't understand why none of that's... There's things that go on in this league that would never, ever, a million times ever, be accepted in other professional...
While disappointing, it demonstrated current players haven't generated sufficient individual appeal. Potential responses from ownership include significant roster restructuring. Players under entry-level agreements remain contractually bound. Management could theoretically replace striking veterans with international talent or other willing participants. European leagues contain substantial talent pools that could be recruited. Recent events, highlighting skill gaps, haven't helped perceptions.
The season, some people said that she was sneak dissing fans. Now, we seen it at the closing part of the season in a press conference of a clip with her, which I'm gonna play in a minute, and we seen it come out with Stephanie White actually saying that she's building around Kelsey Mitchell and she's pretty much the focal point of the offense. Now, Kelsey Mitchell, like I stated, man, she don't really be on Twitter like that. Well, there was a tweet that she put out yesterday, 13 hours ago.
Now, seeing elite professionals lose competitive matchups to amateur content creators raises questions about overall product quality. Supporter fatigue has become palpable. Some view this as an opportunity for organizational reset, potentially attracting international audiences through roster transformation. Fundamental questions persist about whether operations disappearing would create any meaningful void. Support existed around compensation improvements. The profit-sharing demands represent where public opinion diverges sharply.
Now, this is that set tweet. Now, in this tweet, she states some things, man. She stated, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Now, I don't know what she's talking about, but many Indiana Fever fans is definitely scratching their heads right now. Now, do I think Kelsey Mitchell should have done this? So right now, I don't know.
The aggressive positioning from an artificially sustained operation that requires ongoing subsidization seems tone-deaf. The contrast between economic reality and rhetorical approach proved jarring. The situation has evolved into something resembling ongoing drama rather than serious business negotiations. Stakeholders on multiple sides face difficult decisions about the organization's future viability and whether current trajectories serve anyone's interests effectively. Kelsey Mitchell has found herself at the center of attention following a mysterious social media message that's generating buzz across basketball circles. The Indiana Fever guard, known for staying away from online platforms and focusing primarily on her game, recently shared something that has supporters questioning her plans with the franchise.
Should have done this. So right now, I don't know. But it ain't looking good for Kelsey Mitchell because just like I stated, man, that was a few months ago, roughly 3 months ago. She said this right here, which I'm about to play this for y'all right here, bro. Let me blow this up. I'm about to play this for y'all. This was Kelsey Mitchell a couple months ago. Listen to this.
In the huddles, we're all we got, we all we need.
Yeah, so we all we got, we all we need. Yeah.
We all we got, we all we need. We all.
Mitchell typically avoids the social media spotlight, rarely posting updates or engaging in online discussions. Her approach mirrors.
We all we got, we all we need. We all we got, we all we need. Where Caitlin at? Caitlin ain't there, is she now? I think we all know Caitlin's hurt right now, right? Yeah, she ain't been there since July. Listen.
How did that kind of come about? And do you remember when you started sharing that message?
Probably might have been after somebody got hurt. I won't even lie to you. It was early on. I think it was when CC got hurt.
When Caitlin got hurt, you started saying we all we got, we all we need. Now we can't forget.
The message that triggered all this discussion reads, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. The ambiguous nature of this statement left Indiana supporters confused and concerned about its meaning. What makes this situation more complicated is something Mitchell said several months back during a press conference. When discussing team unity, she repeatedly emphasized a particular phrase, we all we got, we all we need. When questioned about the origin of this saying, Mitchell explained it began after a teammate sustained an injury. Specifically, she mentioned it started when CeCe got hurt, though the timing coincidentally aligned with when Caitlin Clark was also sidelined back in July. The contrast between declaring team solidarity months ago and now posting such a vague statement has raised eyebrows.
Now, we can't forget about that, bro. So that was a couple months ago. Now, going back to this tweet right here, she stated, when people show you who they are, believe them. Now, let's check out some of these comments. One person said, yep, WNBA has shown people who they are. Somebody said, you speaking about yourself, you're nasty. Oh, no, sorry, guys. I'm not going to read that. Somebody said one of Maya Angelou's best quotes, love you, Kels, and hope you stay with the Fever. Somebody says,
reactions to her recent message have been varied and intense. One commenter suggested the WNBA itself has revealed its true nature. Another referenced Maya Angelou's famous wisdom, expressing hope that Mitchell remains with the Fever. Some responses were less favorable, while others from different team supporters hinted at recruiting her elsewhere, with Atlanta Dream fans suggesting their organization would provide better treatment. Multiple reports have emerged discussing this development. One article specifically highlighted how Mitchell's unclear communication has fans trying to interpret hidden meanings.
With the Fever, somebody said, so you're coming to the Dream, we'll treat you right. So many people is already insinuating that Kelsey is done with Indiana, bro. Now, there is an article, too, if I could pull it up, that has went viral, man. Has went viral about this whole topic here. Now, this is the article here, and this article states, Kelsey Mitchell quit the post.
An important detail often overlooked is that Mitchell enters free agency, joining several other prominent players in the same situation this year. The piece noted how challenging it would be for Indiana to imagine their roster without someone who was their second overall selection back in 2018 and has achieved significant accomplishments since then. Mitchell has a history of cryptic online activity. The previous November, she shared something on Instagram that read, "Play, pay, play, no pay, no play, only one motto over these waters." That message also left supporters puzzled about its intention. Currently, Mitchell hasn't clarified what her latest statement means. Many believe she may need to address the situation directly, as the speculation will likely continue building until the season begins.
Here. And this article states, Kelsey Mitchell cryptic posts have Fever fans reading in between the lines. Now, Kelsey Mitchell is a free agent, bro. She's definitely a free agent. And it's a lot of WNBA players, superstars, that are free agents this year. Now, I'm not going to put out there and say that she's leaving. But let's read what this article stated. It said, it's hard to imagine without Kelsey Mitchell on his roster. The Fever drafted number 2 pick in 2018, and we already know all the great things that she's done. Now it says,
if departure plans exist, some argue it might be better to announce them sooner rather than later. The timing seems particularly concerning given how quiet the offseason has been. Mitchell is believed to be participating in the Unrivaled League, which could potentially be related to her message, though that remains unclear. Examining her social media history shows limited activity. Her last post before this occurred on October 1st, when she discussed an injury she suffered during the playoff series against Las Vegas that required her to be helped off the court. Prior to that, she had shared content from A'ja Wilson.
Now it says the same can't be said about Indiana Fever now. After drafting Leah Boston, Caitlin Clark, so on and so forth. Now, Mitchell is no stranger to making cryptic media posts. Last November, she made headlines for an Instagram post that read, pay, play, no pay, no play. Only one motto over these waters. Now, that quote there left fans wondering as well. Now, that was the latest.
Her Instagram account shows even less frequent updates. A December 8th post promoted a toy drive event for children in the community, which received less attention than this controversial message. The concerning aspect is that Mitchell chose to share the ambiguous statement across multiple platforms, suggesting intentional visibility rather than a casual thought. The fact that she made sure to post it on both Twitter and Instagram, where she maintains followings of 23,000 and 122,000 respectively, indicates this wasn't accidental. The deliberate cross-platform posting suggests basketball-related implications, though the exact meaning remains open to interpretation.